Alrighty, now that we know about counting significant figures and what numbers count as significant figures and all that fun stuff, let's look about how we're going to deal with this in calculations. Calculating, um, we're going to do this all semester, even into Gen Chem 2, we'll be doing this and pay attention to the significant figures as we do this, okay? The best way we can think about this is to think about it as the same idea as a chain. That saying that your chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Well, your data can only be as precise as your least precise data, okay? And how we figure that out is going to depend on what mathematical operations you're doing, okay? So let's take a look at this. Okay, when we're multiplying and dividing, our least precise data has the least number of significant figures, so the fewest significant figures, okay? So let's take a stab. Let's make up some examples here as we do this. Okay, let's say we have 604.3 divided by 12.75 times 32.011. All right. And this is our question. We want to figure this out. Easily enough. The math part is straightforward. I didn't put units on here because we're focusing more on the significant figures. Okay. So, and this will get into something we're going to talk about later too. The best way to do this in your calculator so we don't screw it up is to multiply the two things on the bottom together, and then we're going to divide the two things, okay? So 12.75 times 32.011. Okay, so now we have 604.3 divided by 408.14025, okay? And then we're going to divide those two numbers. 604.3 divided by the answer is this. Okay, so my calculator says 1.480618488838. Now, the reason we have to pay attention to significant figures is because calculators are not, they're great at doing the calculation, but they don't know the meaning behind the number. So they're going to think everything is significant and tell you there it is. Okay, so when we're doing multiplication and division stuff, our answer has to have the same significant figures as the piece of data with the least number of significant figures. Okay, so this guy has 4, this guy has 4, and this guy has 5. So our answer should have 4 significant figures. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our 4 significant figures. And we want to look at this thing and we're going to round. Okay, that's a 6. So we're going to round the 0 up to a 1. So our actual answer is 1.481. Okay, does that make sense? Cool. Let's talk about adding and subtracting. Okay, it's the same idea. You're only as precise as your least precise measurement. The issue here is when we're doing addition and subtraction, your least precise data is the one with the fewest number of decimal places. Okay, so let's work this through. 0.355. We're going to add to that 52.9, and we're going to subtract 1.8246. Okay, we'll just make it straightforward. All right. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to math it all together. Okay, so 0.355 plus 52.9 minus 1.8246 is 51.4304. All right, now we're going to look at our significant figures here. Okay, what we're looking for here is decimal places. This guy has 3 decimal places. This one has 1 decimal place, and this has 4 decimal places. You see what I'm counting? I'm counting these, this, and that. Numbers to the right of the decimal. All right. The one with the fewest is this guy. So 1 decimal place. So our answer gets 1 decimal place. All of this, and then 1 decimal place. That's a 3 on this side, so we don't have to round that up. So our answer should be 51.4. That got weird right there. Oopsie. 51.4, big answer. All right. Does that make sense? Notice that we've lost a little bit of the precision in, well, we haven't really. Never mind. You may or may not have different significant figures than you think you should have, but you should have the right number of decimal places. Okay. Now, these are nice and straightforward examples. If we're thinking about it, the places where I see students have big issues with this happen when you're doing multiple steps and you're doing addition and subtraction and multiplication and division in the same problem. Okay, so let's take a stab and look at something like that. Okay, and this is a good way to do it. And different courses are going to do it differently, but this is how we're going to do it. In a multi-step calculation, you want to keep track of the significant figures as you go, but you're not going to round anything until you get to the end of the problem. Okay, and we're going to round it based on how we figured stuff out. Okay, so let me think about this. Let's take 5.92 and we're going to multiply that by 65.1. Let's call it 10, give it more precision. All right, we're going to divide that by 3.125 minus 0.0113. Okay, I want to know what this is. Okay, so calculator wise, I'm going to multiply the top 5.92 times 65.10 and get 365.392. Okay, now if we look at that process, when we did it, this was 3 significant figures and this was 4 significant figures because we're multiplying. So this answer should have 3 significant figures. So this is 3 significant figures, this 365. Okay. On the bottom, we have 3.125 minus 0.0113. Back to my original. This is 3.1137. Now, think about our precision here. This guy has 3 decimal places and this has 4 decimal places. So this needs to have 3 decimal places. So 3 decimal places means right there is where the number should stop. Okay. You still with me? All right. Now, once we've done that, we can take the top and divide it by the bottom. And that's going to be our 385.92 divided by 3.1137. And I've got 123.77300,318. Okay, that's what my calculator told me. Now, what we want to do is look at what our things are here. We multiplied and divided at the last step. We divided. So we're going to say significant figures. So this top number has 3 significant figures. This bottom number has 4 significant figures, right? Because we're counting all of that. Okay, so our answer needs 3 significant figures. So there's the 3 significant figures. This is a 7, so we're going to round that 3 up. So our final answer on this should be 124. Okay. I mean, I don't know what I mean, but you see what I'm doing. Okay, round at the end, keep track as you go, and it gets easier the more you do it. So practice, 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 ask questions as you need to. If this gets confusing, we want to fix it as early as possible. Okay, if you need anything, let me know. I'll catch you next time.